We kick off today, and I remembered. Well, we kick off today, but I remember. Point is, either way, last week I didn't remember. This week I do, and that is, it is Friday, and you know what that means? It means it's time for the preview of the AEW's second weekly program, that being AEW Rampage. And I just want to clarify two things. Number one, when Collision starts in a few weeks, which I believe we are at the 8-day mark for Collision. I could be wrong, but I believe we're at the 8-day mark for AEW Collision. That I am still going to do the Rampage previews. I will probably preview, like I said, I believe earlier in the week, I will probably preview the first edition of AEW Collision, but I will also do Rampage the day before, like I do with pay-per-views every time the pay-per-views come around. But with that being said, last week, I totally forgot last week was Friday because of the fact that I was so wrapped up with... I think it was because I was so wrapped up with the fact that I was working that day, but I don't think I worked that day. I think it was just the fact that I was tired. Either way, the other thing I wanted to say is I'm going to jump back into maybe putting up a little bit more content here and there as we are in the final leg of the race to, or what feels like the final leg of the race to 400 subs, which is absolutely insane that we are closing in on almost that within a year of me doing this, we are almost closing in on me gaining 200 subs in about a year. So that's absolutely insane and something I'm looking forward to sharing with all of you. With that being said, though, let's get into Rampage tonight and speak about one of the matches. Speak about the match. Speak about what to expect. I do apologize. I just woke up not too long ago, so I might be a little bit... maybe I should have waited a little longer to do this, as opposed to jumping right in after I woke up. Either way, six-man tag team action, or trios action as AEW calls it, is set to take place tonight with the Lucha Brothers and Bandito teaming up against Ethan Page, Lee Moriarty, and Big Bill. The one thing I would say for continuity purposes is that if the firm is supposed to be disbanded, then the firm should not be teaming up a few weeks after losing the match that disbanded them on Rampage. Just my opinion. Other than that, it should be an interesting six-man tag team match or trios action. It should be interesting trios action as Bandito and the Lucha Brothers are a very formidable trio for the former firm. If it was me, I think Ethan Page should get a victory, because if he's the one that is wrapped up in a feud, and to my knowledge, the Lucha Brothers, Bandito, and the others are not wrapped up in a feud, for whatever reason, Ethan Page is still in a feud with the Hardy Boys. I guess you keep the Hardys busy until the tag team titles are available. Or you test it with Jeff because you don't want to invest right out of the gate. You want to let things simmer for a bit and then invest with Jeff. But I think Ethan Page should get the victory because he can't keep losing if you want people to care what's going on with Ethan Page and the Hardy Boys. If you want people to care what's going on, you got to let Ethan Page win some matches to show that he matters and that his feud is not just a throwaway feud with the Hardys. Even if he doesn't beat the Hardys, still, he should win matches, because Ethan Page, number one, is talented enough where he should not be an enhancement talent, and number two, he's in a feud, so he should win. It's pretty much that simple. You're in a feud, you win. You're not in a feud, it doesn't matter if you win or lose, because you're not in a feud anyway. Powerhouse Hobbs is also going to be in action against likely a local talent. It would be nice to see Powerhouse Hobbs get some momentum back after a questionable couple of months with the TNT title picture. The Acclaimed and Billy Gunn are in trios action against the Spanish announced project Serpentico, Luthor, and Angelico. Honestly, I think maybe Angelico may be wishing he followed Jack Evans out the door. That might just be my opinion, but I think he may be hoping. I think he may be wishing that he followed Jack Evans out the door, because being wrapped up in a tag team with Serpentico and Luthor, it's not exactly it's not exactly smelling reeking of career longevity, in my opinion. But it's also honestly good to see the Acclaimed back in action, as they really haven't been doing much since they dropped the tag team titles to the Guns a few months ago, which I think is a big misuse of the Acclaimed, as the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn could be in trios matches with the House of Black, or in a trios feud with the House of Black for the tag titles. But that's just my opinion. I think that in some cases, I think that some wrestling companies just look at it as, if my top guys are working and my top guys are staying consistent as far as what they're doing, where they're going, what's happening next, etc., then that's fine. But you ignore the fact that other people should be getting attention, other people should be getting feuds, because you need backup plans. Like, right now, FTR, I'm assuming, is feuding with Bullet Club Gold, but what do they do after Bullet Club Gold? They need a tag team waiting in the wings, so you can have somebody with a backup as a backup for FTR once they're done, because having your tag team champions wait weeks and weeks and weeks for new opponents, it's not the right way to do it for the tag team titles, or any champion. Like right now, if Wardlow is not still feuding with Christian Cage, who is Wardlow feuding with? And that's where we get to the final match of tonight for the women's title, as Britt Baker, Sky Blue, Mercedes Martinez, and Nyla Rose fight for the number one contendership match. I want to elaborate on something. We spoke about this in a news video, and I honestly thought that the four-way match took place on Dynamite. I didn't realize that the four-way match took place on Rampage. If I did, I wouldn't have mentioned it in the news video. Because the one thing that I don't do in the news videos is, if I'm aware of something that happened on Rampage, because for those who are not aware, Rampage is taped on Fridays. If something happens on Rampage and I become aware of it, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, unless it's something serious, I don't let you guys know until we do the Rampage preview, or because of the Rampage preview. But either way, that's my point of, my earlier point of the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn fighting the House of Black. They're crowning Toni Storm's first number one contender, and I don't think off the top. Forbidden Door. I don't know that the number one contender is going to be going against Toni Storm at Forbidden Door, only because I think it would be justified to say that maybe bring over the IWGP Women's Champion to give those who don't know that New Japan has a women's division the opportunity to see New Japan's women's division. I mean, the only question, in my opinion, is if Forbidden Door was the plan. Again, Mercedes Moné is injured, so she's out of the question anyway. But how much sense would it have made if Mercedes Moné was the champion going into Forbidden Door, and she could have been the one that challenged Toni Storm? Not for the title, but just at the show in an exhibition match, champion versus champion, at Forbidden Door, to highlight what that show is supposed to be about, interpromotional action between New Japan and AEW. I don't, and not to say that the number one contender should not get a shot at the pay-per-view, especially this close to Forbidden Door. It's just that I mean, maybe they will do that because they only have 2 matches announced, but it's just, I think maybe there's a better use of the women's title on that pay-per-view because of what the pay-per-view is supposed to be than just having a normal women's title match, if that makes sense. Either way, the Lucha Brothers and Bandito against the Firm, or the former Firm, in 6-man action. I'm going to preach the fact that I think Ethan Page's team should win. It doesn't, what the heck are the, outside of being the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions, the Lucha Brothers don't need the win. Ethan Page needs it more. Ethan Page does not have momentum. Ethan Page needs it more. Powerhouse Hobbs, it's good to see him getting an easy victory. The Acclaimed and Billy Gunn, again, it's good to see them back in tag team action. I will laugh my ass off if the Acclaimed end up challenging the House of Black for the Trios titles tonight on Rampage. And it is good to see 4 fresh challengers for the AEW Women's title shot. For an AEW Women's title shot. With that being said, though, that is tonight on TBS. It is Rampage, and it is at its normal time slot, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 9 Central. So if you're watching SmackDown, right after SmackDown, flip over to TBS and AEW. With that being said, though, that is it for me, and I will see you in the next one.